Hi, Brian Sorial here, and welcome to this first assignment for the Advanced Photoshop online class. I want to stress the importance of you understanding the similarities, the unity, the differences between, and look what I'm clicking on, paths, channels, and layers. Okay, so we're going to have an experiment here, and I doubt that a lot of you know that a simple path, I'm going to turn off this layer right here, okay? I doubt that a lot of you know that a simple path, either like this one, or gosh, this one look over here. This one looks the same, but it's different in the icon. The icons have black on the outside, white on the inside. Then they have white on the inside, black on the inside. White on the outside, black on the inside. Then there's white in a little square where they actually are between the two big squares. And then it's different. It's dark on the outside, dark on the inside, but light on where the two squares are. So we have four different things that paths can be. These two paths that are just made, either by me drawing them with a pen or using the rectangle tool right over here. Look where I'm clicking, this rectangle tool. If I keep my drawing ability on not shape, but paths, and I'll remind you all the way through this, you can get some pretty amazing things from just two shapes. And so I want you, before you begin this, to see what some other students have done who have learned the difference and the similarities and the unity between paths and channels and layers. And this is what this first simple assignment is. It's going to be simple. I'm going to try to handle it as simply as I can without putting my foot in my mouth and making a lot of mistakes. But if I do, so what? We'll get there. So I'm going to go to the Acrobat file, and I want you to see what some students have done who understand how to make paths and channels and layers work. And making layers work means understanding how to do layer masks and everything. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to go through this. These are by students. This is not a professional illustrator doing this. So this one is by a student who understood how to do everything from color ranging to subtract, add, intersect, exclude paths. This is by the same person who did this one right here. They did this one beyond the final project. This is by a young illustrator who did plenty of advanced projects. Two of which I have right here. So this is by another student who works at 3D Excite. This is by another student who works at a major agency. But these assignments, these finished products, all have one thing in common. Yeah, they look different. I mean, this is a different object than this is, right? But it's the same principle that painted both. It's the same painting principle, and it's understanding paths and layers and channels. And that's what I want you to do at the end of this class, is understand the differences that Photoshop has with simple things, and how the importance of paths and channels and layers, I don't know what I was going to say, just how incredibly important they are in your understanding of being a really good quality professional illustrator. So, to get right to the point, I want you to take this file that I am going to give you. It's called Paths Tutorial Student. And you can see that there are 5 filled layers and 1 layer with white. Okay? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 paths that were created from these two originals right here and here. And there's no extra channels. So what I want you to do is first to create these 4 paths, right, like I did, from this one and this one, and to understand how to make the paths have different properties. So that's what we're going to experiment in. Then when we do that, we are going to create layers from those paths by using 3 key manipulations. And it's either Command or Control Option. It's on a Mac, and I'll go Mac first, PC second. It's either Command Option or Control Alt. Then it's either Command Shift or Control Shift, then it's either Command Option Shift or Control Alt Shift. So those three key manipulations, whether you have a PC or a Mac, are super important. So this is what you're going to turn in. Okay, so immediately save as, like I did. See how I saved as from the student one here, and I saved it to the Brian one here. Now see how it looks exactly the same? Okay, now let's fast forward to the end when you get to this one. So I'm going to click on it, and you're going to see how I have 5 new layers that I named Brian. Don't get rid of my original layers. I want you to have them there too. But I have, and I should have had, oh, I'm terrible. In fact, I'll make sure that this one has it. And you don't have to see exactly what I'm doing because you'll know what I'm doing at the end of this. But I am going to first cancel that, sorry. And I'm going to Command C that, name. I'm going to go to select and save selection, but forget what I'm doing. I just should have had it already in there. And let me hit Command V and go exclude Brian. Now I have them in the right order. I have combine, add Brian. I have, this one should be actually, oh my goodness, I made so many mistakes. Subtract Brian. Then I have subtract to Brian. Then I have exclude. And what I should have also had is intersect. So rather than start this movie over, I'm going to make the intersect one. So I'm going to go to select and save selection, and I'm going to make the intersect one. And then that one should be actually moved up. So that's exactly how I want you to turn in this. I want you to turn this in with the RGB three channels right here, the RGB channels. Then I want you to turn it in with the extra channels. And then throughout this process, you're going to figure out, you're going to realize how important it is to have saved channels. Okay? And as the semester goes on, I'm going to show different illustrations and different projects, and you're going to perform saving channels and then using those saved channels over and over again, because it's so important that you understand the process. So let's begin the process, and please don't be in a hurry. Nothing about this class is supposed to be in a hurry. Even though it's only 12 weeks long, you can continue to work with me via Google Drive and finish those assignments like these students did. I'm interested in you really understanding how to paint. And some of these are, and I'm going to say this not in a bad way, but some of these are designers who never thought they could paint. And then they added all this incredible capability to their portfolio. But let's get on with it. So what you're going to do is start with this one. Now I'm going to go to, and see how there's 3 tabs here? See how there's 3 tabs, but I took away my tabs because I hit the F key? If you hit Command, if you hold Command or Control, and above the Tab key, it's called the tilde key. Right above the Tab key. Go ahead and look at your keyboard. If you go and tap it, you see how you can toggle between tabbed files, even though you don't see the tabs. So I'm going to make sure that I'm on the correct one here, which is the Brian one, which is what I want. And now this is what I want you to do first. I want you to create 1, 2, 3, 4 new paths, and I want you to put your name on them. So let's do it this way first. Let me double click the name and hit Command C. That's what I want you to do, or Control C. Now I want you to take the add upper right here, drag it into the new path icon. Then I want you to double click it and hit Command V, and then double click the word paths right over here and put in your name so I can see that you've done that. Now let's make it work. Okay, so now click to the add lower path. See it right there? Hit the P key, press the P key for the pen. You might have to go here, right here, because it might get stuck on you, and I don't want to explain that, but I just want to right hand click and make sure it's on direct selection tool. Okay, direct select tool. Now in the P key, if you hold the command key on a PC, on a Mac, or the control key, you can toggle. So I'm going to go to the P key, Now when I hold Command or Control, it toggles to the path selection tool. So I'm not going to tell you that again, but I am going to marquee this and hit Command or Control C. Now I'm going to click to the new one that I made right here, and I'm going to hit Command or Control V to paste. Now Photoshop is interesting. It's the only application that pastes in the same place when you hit Command or Control V. In InDesign, you have to go to Paste in Place. In Illustrator, you have to go to Paste in Front or Paste in Place, but this one is perfect. Now, I want you to look at the icon right there. See how it matches this icon right there? That's cool. Now, I also want you, and I should have said this already, that before you begin the process right here, make sure that when you hit the P key, right when you hit the P key, make sure that your path is not on shape. Make sure that your pen, is on path and not shape. Thank you. That's very important. And if you're going to use the rectangle tool, make sure it is not on shape, but it's on path. So I'm going to hit the P key now again, so it goes to the pen tool. So now we have this one done. Now you could easily just copy these right here. You could copy them and just put your name in them and put them down here and cheat. But that's not what I want you to do. I want you to actually duplicate this. I want you to take that and take the word add/combine. It's the same word, really. It used to be called add for years and years, and then they made the word add actually have the word combine, which makes sense in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to walk and chew gum at the same time. I'm going to type and hit the return key and now call this one subtract. So you don't have to make this subtract number 2 result in a path, because we're going to do that later. But I want you to click on your new path. Make sure you're in the pen tool. Look at how I'm going to marquee this with a big box so all the points are solid. Now please watch this icon change when you go to the property and put it on subtract. See how it changed? You're done. Now let's duplicate it again. Now let's double click subtract, and let's take the word subtract and put in intersect and hit the return key. If I spelled that right, yes I did. Now I don't want the word copy in there, so I should have taken the word copy out. I'm terrible. So let me take the word copy 2 out. Okay, and hit the return key. Now let's make this go to intersect. Now all we have to do is repeat the process. If you're in the pen tool, hold the command key and marquee the whole thing. Now simply go up to the property and put it on intersect. So now once you do it, do you see how the rest of the paths are ignored beyond where they overlap in the middle? So when you make a selection of these, it's different. Now watch how we make a selection of these. Keep your eye on combine. When I click combine and I hold the command or control key and click on the icon, look at how it ignored the center. Now notice how when I click on subtract, it ignores this, and you see how the fill is going to be on the outside? Because where white is where the fill is going to be. Now look at this one. When I command or control key click, it ignored the rest of it. It ignored these 2 parts of that square, and it only recognized where they intersected. Now let's go make the exclude one. So let's duplicate this. Let me control or command D to deselect. With it selected, okay, take away the word copy, Brian, and let's double click the word intersect and put in exclude. Now with it, again, you have in the pen tool, hold the command key or control key for the path selection tool, draw a big box around both of them, and let's go now down to exclude. Now we have where it'll fill in the 2 squares but not fill where they overlap. Okay, now save it. Okay, that's step 1. Now let's make 5 layers, and we're going to take away the word result, and we're going to put in your name. So I'm going to just make 5 layers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And watch what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to double click this one, hit Command or Control C, double click this one, hit Control V or Command V, double click result and put in Brian. I am very much on organization. So I'm going to double click the word, the second layer that I had in the name, hit Control C or Command C, then paste it up into here and just say Brian. Now I'm going to take the second one, put it up here, and put in Brian. Then I'm going to take the fourth one, Command C, go to layer 2, Control V or Command V, put in Brian. Wherever you see the word result, put your name in there. Let's go to Exclude, Control or Command C, Control or Command V, double click Brian. Now, save this file, but don't save it. Save as, so you can change the name. So, go to File, Save As, change the name, and make sure you put in your name in there. Okay, so when you save, don't save over the student version. Make it your own name. And I'll hit Save. Now, you're not going to have the word replace at the first time you do it. So, obviously, to save is Command or Control Shift S. Okay, so now let's make it happen. Let's click to the Combine Add Layer. And every time you make it, turn it off. Now, change your color. Look at, if I click the foreground color, I can change it to anything I want. And this is not about filling and making things pretty. Just get through this assignment, okay? So, go up to your new path and Command click it. I'm leaving everything on the screen so you can see. So Command or Control click the icon, and when you want to turn something off, look, see how you can still see the path here? Okay, in fact, I'm going to deselect. If you can't, let's say there's so many paths that you can't get to the bottom and click it like this, and you want to turn this one off, just hold Control on a PC or Command on a Mac and just click it. See how you can turn it on and off in the viewability of it? Now, I'm going to Command or Control click the icon. You can see the selection. Let me move it over slightly. And now make sure you're on the layer. That's important. Always make sure you're on the layer before you do any, before you perform any function. In this case, filling with the foreground color. So Option or Alt, Delete or Backspace. Now turn it off. Turn off the visibility. Hit Command S to save. Now go to the first subtract one. Look at the first subtract one where I have the result here. Okay, that's what I want you to do. So let's go up to here and Command or Control click the icon that you made. Don't use the ones up here, use the ones that you made. And let's hit Option Delete. We're almost done. Okay, or Alt Backspace. Turn it off. Don't leave them on. Thank you. Now what do I have to do? Click to number 2. Now, we are going to learn how you use two paths together. So let's go back and make a selection, Command or Control click the first one. Now I want you to see how if I hold Control Alt or Command Option, do you guys see the minus symbol that's right in that little hand icon right there? You have to look hard, but there's a minus symbol. It means this one is going to be subtracted from this one. So watch. Boom. Now let me Command Z back. I'll click on it first, so you know that I'm taking this big shape and I'm subtracting it from the one that's marqueed. So Command Option or Control Alt click. Okay, now what you should have been doing is save the selections. So I'll start saving this selection right now. Okay, so I'll fill it first, Option Delete. Now with the selection still active, you see the selection active? Let me make sure that's the way I wanted you to turn it in. And the answer is yes. So that should have been the third one down. So let's go to Brian. And now let's save the selection. I forgot what I was doing. So save the selection as subtract 2. Now I'm going to cancel it because I don't feel like typing. So I'm going to go Command C or Control C, then go to the save selection and just hit Command V. And now I have it in here. Now I should make it of the first two. So how do I make it of the first two? By going backwards. Well, it's okay. I want you to have all those channels that I had in this one. I want you to have them, 5 channels. I want you to have them in this one. And I used Control tilde or Command tilde to send me to those files. So let's now make a selection of the first one. With it selected, notice how I made it not of the path, but I can Command or Control click a layer to turn it into a selection. I'm going to save it and hit that. Whoops, Brian made a mistake. I needed to double click and hit Control C. Now Control V, return key, and now let's move that one up. Now let's double click this and hit Command or Control C. Let's click away. Let's make a selection of it. So I needed to actually Command or Control click the icon. Now save that selection. And you can see if I hit the return key, I have it completely the way I should. Now I won't forget to create these channels as I move forward. What's the next one? We want to do the intersect one right here. So I click to the intersect blank layer. I find where my intersect path is right over here. See it right here, right there? Let me hold Command or Control to click away from it, but I'm going to hold Command or Control to click on the icon. Now, with it selected, you can choose to go select, save selection, and then fill it, or fill it and then save selection. It doesn't really matter. I did it again, didn't I? Oh my goodness. Command C, I'm sorry. And Command V, there we go. Now I'm going to make sure I'm on the correct layer. Look, if I filled, look right now, see? If I went Option Delete, I would fill up this layer. Watch, I'll make the mistake. Oops. See? It's not, oh, if I turned on that layer, I would simply copy it over, and that's the wrong thing to do. When you're painting, the very first thing you always must do is make sure you're on the right layer before you paint, or before you do anything. But let me now put it on that layer. Okay, I've already saved the selection, so let me turn it off. Now let's click to exclude. Let's double click the name exclude, Command C. Let's go over here to the exclude one and Command or Control click it. Okay, perfect. Click to the layer that we're going to paint on. Option Delete. I'll turn it off just so you can see that the selection is there. And I'll select and save selection. And hopefully I have it here and I actually did it right for the first time. So I have 5 channels. That's what you're going to be graded on. My name, whoops, is not on the rest of them. Oops, I should have grabbed them from up here. See, I made a teensy weensy mistake. So I am going to double click this and put in Brian, and I'm going to double click this and put in Brian, and now Brian won't know the difference. So there is what I want you to turn in. I don't care if you leave one of these on, that's fine, go ahead. I'll hit Command S to save. What I'm going to check for is that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 new paths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new channels, and I really want you to have, of course, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 new layers with only one being on. I mean, it wouldn't make sense if I had them all on, all you'd see is red. So I don't care what color you use, I don't care if you get creative on me, that's not the point. The point is please start to understand the difference between paths. Now, I'm not done, so hold on. This is just for your viewing pleasure, okay? So I'm going to Command click the first one. So I'm going to Command click the icon. I'm going to make sure that I have nothing selected. So first I'm going to Command click this one. Now I'm going to add this together. So I'm going to go Command and Shift, or Control and Shift, and add this one together. Now I can choose to subtract this one from here. Okay, but what I want to do is just for giggles on this one, and I'm going to save the file right now, and then I'm not going to save it. I'm actually going to take my lasso and I'm going to make an independent path just like this, and I'm going to actually perform the function again. So I'm going to Command click the first one. Okay, whoops, I'm sorry, I needed to save that selection. because I had made a lasso selection. So I'm just going to call it test. I want you to see how different things work in conjunction with each other. Okay, I obviously didn't make a path. So I made a new test channel. So I'm going to command click the first one, command shift click the second one. I'm going to command option subtract the third one. Now do you see how I made a custom fill there? Now I'm going to command Z back. What if I would have gone command option and shift? Now there's an X symbol where the little icon is. That means that only where the two overlapped is what I'm going to see. So I want you to understand that you can subtract a selection from another selection. So let me go back to this one. Adding them together is the shift key, and you get a plus sign. Command Zing back. Subtracting one from another is a minus symbol. Okay, now an X appears where you want to intersect them. So for now, I'll command click the first one, command shift click the second one. Do you see what I just did there? And I'm going to go command option and shift click this one right there. So it's going to show me that I can intersect it, and what I get is that shape right there. So it's really important. There's so many other ways that I can show you how important this is. I'll make, this time I will make a path, because I just want you to see something. So I'm going to actually click to the rectangle tool, make sure it's on paths. Okay, look at down here. I'm going to make a long bar just like this. Now I'm going to look at, it's named path 1. Do you see it? Okay, so I'm going to command click the first one. Let me click away from this first. Let me pull this down so you can see I'm clicking away from it. I could have held command and clicked away, and I'm almost done this movie. Command click the first one, command shift click the second one, command option shift click or control alt shift click, and look what you make. You actually make something. Let me command Z back and show you. What if I wanted to take this shape right here, and what if I only wanted to have this stop right here and right here? That's an intersection. That's command option and shift click that. Now what if I were to subtract this big shape from this shape? Now watch what happens. If I actually make a selection of this first and command option click this combine one, look what I get. I get these two little end squares. Now if you're painting something that's really important, look at how important that might be for you to actually have both of those actually being able to be created. So from this here, using this, I could create 3 or 4 different shapes. I mean, that's pretty darn cool. That's pretty neat. So the whole part of this is the whole first step to me to be able to paint beautiful shapes, just like these students did. I mean, those are pretty magnificent, very versatile products. These products go for thousands and thousands of dollars if you were to paint these commercially. And a lot of our students now do paint commercially. So stick with it, and please turn in this file exactly the way that I want it. Of course, not with the test thing and not with this little rectangle. So that's exactly how I want this turned in. Okay? Thank you. And on to assignment number 2.